Right, welcome to this complete army video. It's for Space Wolves. I had previously released a video some months back with a list that I had, bringing it into 8th edition. I got this army painted on commission by Siege Studios back in 7th edition, and then I put a force together for 8th edition. Didn't do particularly well, so I've revamped the army, learned a fair bit of battlefield experience. I've introduced some new units and added those in, and so I have a brand new list here, and I think one that should perform a lot better than the previous one. So in this video it will be an entire army overview. So I'm going to cover all of the units. I'm actually going to build up the list, and I'll bring each of the units on, talk about tactics for them and also for the whole of the army, talk about the theme of the army as well, and gradually build this army up. And then right at the very end we'll stand out and take a look at the whole army laid out on the battlefield here. It's not the best setting, desert, for the Space Wolves, but we'll lay them out on this terrain here, and we'll zoom out and you get to see the whole army, and I'll give you an idea of the footprint and the shape of the army, and get an idea of how it'll look on the battlefield. Hopefully the Space Wolves will perform well and they'll be able to achieve many a victory. But we'll take a look at this list here, gradually build it up, go through in the order of the codex. I'll go through points as well, so if you want to copy this list, there's no problem. I'll give you all the points values. It's updated, chapter approved, 2018. It's 2,000 points is the size of this army. So as I mentioned earlier, most of the units have been painted up on commission by Siege Studios, so big thank you to them. They've done a great job, really happy with the outcome. And then I've painted a couple of extra models, just some new units being added in, and hopefully they'll tie in and match up nicely with the units that have already been painted. But exciting here to see the Space Wolves finished off and ready for war. Once this video comes out, it means that the army's finished, ready, and then able to go out and fight in various battle reports on both of the channels. For individual Tactica, if you want to focus in on particular units, there's a Tactica series here for the Space Wolves for some of the key units. So if you want to know more about the Thunderwolf Cavalry and deeper tactics and so on, then check out that video. I've done one for the Wolf and the Dreadnoughts and different characters and so on as well. So check those out if you want more detail for specific units. So just to talk about the theme here for the Space Wolves, and with the armies that I try and put together, I always try and do a nice representation of all the models, because I'm a collector and I like to collect and paint different models, and it's a bit different here because a lot of the units have been done on commission. But for all of my armies, I like to have a nice representation of the faction, but at the same time trying to keep that nice theme and fluff going. At the same time, I still want to put a list together that's going to perform well and is fluffy and yet enhanced as much as possible to still do well in the different battles and against the various opponents that the Space Wolves are going to have to face. So, lessons that I learned, it's mainly close combat. It's not much firepower. It's the same with this army here, not too much in the way of firepower. So the emphasis is on trying to engage the opponent as quick as possible, and hunting like a pack of wolves. That you circle the opponent, trying to find the right moment to strike, and then the pack pounces. And that's the idea, trying to reflect that in the structure of this army. So trying to close the ground as quick as possible. And also a big element to this army is a big distraction first wave going in to divert the opponent's attention, and then that makes them have to shoot at those units, try and deal with those units whilst the rest of the bulk of the army moves up, hopefully not as hindered as it would be if that screen wasn't there. So that's the idea, sort of a quick wave going in, and as you'll see that's going to be the fast attack elements of the army, Thunderwolf Cavalry and so on. The opponent has to tie up and deal with those, and then that buys time for the rest of the army marching up. And then the way this army is structured, there then is a screen, a bulk of infantry units that you'll see, and their job is to engage the opponent, but also to act as a screen to protect sort of the key characters that I have that are hidden away, and they're the ones with the nasty close combat potential that can take on the heavier targets. So that's the kind of idea. You've got a first quick wave, and you'll see this as we lay the units out, then infantry tide moving up, and then behind them, screening them, are these important characters. And mostly it's Dreadnoughts actually that I've put an emphasis on to deliver some deadly blows against the opponent's various units. So that's the idea. So speed is going to be key as much as possible, and then also protecting my units to try and limit the damage as much as possible, making them harder to hit, giving them a good as armor saver, invuln save as possible as well. That's all key elements to try and help this army out. So that's the kind of thing I'm aiming for, and we'll put the list together here, and then when we stand back you'll see which unit's meant to be doing what as well. But that gives you an idea of the strategy, so what I'm aiming for, and it sort of gives you an idea of why I've chosen different units and the different roles that they have. But I really do love the Space Wolves. The colour scheme, always love the colour scheme. It's been one of my favourite Space Marine chapters. Now it is a great time to collect them. There's great plastic models for them now, some amazing new units. Dreadnought's been redone, great plastic kit for them, various combinations you can go for. Even the standard infantry, I'm a big fan of them. So, and now with your Primaris models as well, Space Wolves are a real option. You can go for a really nice themed Space Marine army. You'll notice here this list I don't really have many regular Space Marine units. In fact, I don't think I have any sort of standard like Rhinos or Predators or Land Raiders, that kind of thing. It's all units that are unique to the Space Wolves, and that again I really wanted to, because I've got Imperial Fists already, Blood Angels, and I want to make the Space Wolves as different as possible. So yeah, I'll introduce it in order then. The first HQ is a new unit that I've painted up, and that's Bjorn the Fell-Handed. So it's a character dreadnought. So if you can imagine the army as like a storm, and it again reflects the fluff going on. You've got the outer edges of the storm where the wind starts to pick up and so on. Then it circles around, it gets more and more intense towards the centre, the eye of the storm. So with that idea going on, in the centre of my army, at its most intense part, is these deadly characters, and they're masked and shielded by the other units swirling around. That's the kind of storm idea I've got going on here. So right, you should see this guy right in the centre of the army and hidden and protected by the other units sort of swirling around him. If I lose these kind of models early on in a battle, as you watch the different battle reports, then the Space Wolves will be in trouble. If these last towards the end of the game, then they should do well. So these are key units here. But Bjorn the Fell-Handed, a deadly unit. In the tactics video for him, I've done a new one. I talk about the model and so on, and some deeper Tactica with this guy. But I've gone for the double las cannon, so that he's able to, he's a character, he's tucked in the lines, and as he moves up, he's going 8 inches, it's nice and quick, he's able to lay down some decent firepower here. His ballistic skill is 2+, he's on reroll 1s, and if he moves it's going to be 3+ rerolling 1s, still good there. And then the las cannon, it's going to be 2 shots, strength 9, -3, d6 damage. Decent enough. Be able to pick up wounds as he moves up. Not too much pressure on him to move that quickly across the table. He's going to move 8 anyway, and so be able to keep up with the infantry, which is where he's going to be buried in amongst, and so then he's able to fire as he goes, and then engage in close combat as well, where I think he's the most deadly. 5 attacks at 2s to hit, rerolling 1s, and he's armed with a True Claw, +5 strength, so he fights at strength 12. It's AP -4, so it's going to bypass the average tank 3+, is going to cut straight through the armour, and then it's d6 damage, which is fantastic, and then reroll failed wound rolls on top of that as well. So it's against your average vehicle, you're looking at 4 or 5 wounds getting through, and then that many d6 damage. He is terrifyingly good in close combat. So, and a real bane. Anything that doesn't have an invuln save is going to be big trouble against Bjorn the Fell-Handed. So he's in. So the total points for him, you have to pay, is 180 points. You then got to pay 14 points for Heavy Flamer, which is just under here. And then the Twin Las Cannon is 40 points, so that makes him 234. He's well worth protecting. Don't lose this guy early on, because it's a fair amount of points invested in him. So I want to get a good amount of firepower each turn as well, and then to make some deadly attacks in close combat for him to pay back his points. You'll also add an extra command point to the army, Ancient Tactician. You get +1 command point. So my army is going to be, I should have mentioned this, so it's Battle Forged, Battalion Detachment, so that's 8 command points. I have a Vanguard as well, and then I have Bjorn, so 10 command points in total. And don't spend any extra on relics and so on, so I'll be able to use that full 10. That's pretty good for a sort of a Space Marine style army. 10 command points is okay, so I'm happy enough with that. That gives me some pretty good options when it comes to using the stratagems. I'll maybe mention the stratagems that I will mostly be using here. Yeah, so the ones that I plan to use will be mostly is Cunning of the Wolf. So it lets you flank with units, putting them onto a battlefield edge. It only costs 1 command point unit. You could do it with infantry units. Set this unit up on the hunt instead of placing it on the battlefield. At the end of any of your movement phases, the unit can join the battle. Set it up wholly within 6 inches of any battlefield edge. So you can come on behind the opponent's line. It's very useful. So there's a bit of ambush available there. So Grey Hunters, Blood Claws, Wolfen, they can all do that. So that's good tactical flexibility, that one there. Cloaked by the Storm is 3 command points. So that is, you'd need your Psyker to successfully manifest a psychic power, or the Rune Priest to do that. The opponent then must, you pay 3 command points, the opponent then must subtract -1 from all hit rolls for range attacks that target friendly Space Wolves units within 6 inches of this model. So again, like the Eye of the Storm, right in there is my Rune Priest, which I have on the new units, and I'll keep other units within 6, and they're all then -1 to hit them, and that's represented like this Storm protecting unit. So that's one way of protecting them there. Also is to use prepared positions to activate that. If I don't go first, and then to gain +1 for being in cover. All of these things to try and stack up to help and try and protect the army as it moves forwards. Then there's some other interesting ones, but I'm just going to cover the main ones here. Only in Adeptus duty ends. If a character is slain, you get to fight before you die. And the other big one is Honour the Chapter as well. 3 command points, but an infantry, biker, or cavalry unit in your army immediately fighting for a second time. Just that crucial point where you need to maximise your damage output, play Honour the Chapter, and fight again. So there's some pretty expensive command point or stratagems there. So I'm glad to have 10 at least to use as a resource there for command points. So Bjorn the Fell-Handed is in. We're expecting to be buried in amongst this army here and to be as protected as much as possible. Wanting to last the entire game is the aim for Bjorn. So I like the side theme. You know, vehicles I've pushed away, and I've gone for Dreadnoughts instead. It's nice to put an emphasis on a particular type of unit here. Dreadnoughts not always the most popular options, but Space Wolves have access to some really potent ones for sure. So yeah, if you're wondering what the terrain setup here is, we're in the middle of a 2-part series. We're playing Death Guard versus Imperial Fists. really good combination. We've played part 1. I'll just move the terrain back a little bit, and then I'll reset it for part 2. Really excited about that, and that should be out soon once this video has been released, but keep a look out for that. But that's the backdrop here that you can see, this desert setup that we have. But beyond the Fell-Handed, then I go for, just in the order that they come, a Rune Priest, another key unit and a new model that I've added into the army. I've done a Tactica on him to show all the potential that he has, and in the Tactica videos I do zoom in so you can take a real close look at the models. Great for a painting reference if you're painting up Space Wolves. You get a nice view and talk about the model and painting techniques and so on a bit in those videos as well. But there he is. Got him in lead, managed to track him down, and I'll just push him over there. But that is a key model here for this Space Wolves list. If you want to keep track of the models, check me out on Instagram, StrikingScorpion82. Follow me on Instagram and you get updates of latest videos that come out, sneak peeks, zoomed in pictures of models as they leave the painting desk. You can follow along all the new stuff that's coming out, and pictures from battle reports as well, like 10 images from different battle reports ahead of time before they're released as well. So it's a great way of getting a bit more insight and keeping track of what's going on. So yeah, Rune Priest then, another HQ choice, and he's actually going to be the Warlord here for this Space Wolves army. So, as I explained in the Tactica video, I reckon he can potentially, has the potential to have 33 attacks in one turn. Sounds crazy, but with the he's got 3 attacks here, and then what I do is give him Cover the Relic, which is a popular one for Space Wolves player. It's the Wolfen Stone. just here. So he gets an extra attack. Another unit's within 3 inches. And again, this is a character that's going to be in the centre of the army. I do not want him getting killed early on. He's there to grant bonuses and buffs and to dish out psychic powers, but to be protected as a character behind the wall of infantry. So an extra attack for Space Wolves, infantry, biker and cavalry units within 3 inches of him. And then he'll get that as well. So now he's up to 4 attacks. I then go for Warlord traits, which is the updated Warlord traits that Games Workshop have released. Yeah, so I have the update here. So he's the Warlord. I give him Saga of the Wolfkin. It's +1 to attack characteristic. If he charges, was charged or performed heroic interventions, so you need to charge to get that. That'll boost him up to 5 attacks on the charge. And then if he slays 5 enemy models, you can keep a tally from turn to turn. Then other Space Wolves units within 6 inches of him. Again, another big incentive for him to remain in the centre of the army. They get 1 extra attack as well on the charge. Amazing bonuses. So you can really start stacking up the bonus attacks potentially from him. So you can see why he's going to be right there in the heart of the army, just enhancing everybody with these bonuses. Then what you can do is go for some 5 attacks at the moment on the charge. Then from Tempestus Discipline, he's got access to 2 psychic powers. Give him Fury of the Wolf Spirits. He can attack with Frekian Geri. It's a warp charge value of 7. He'll get 6 additional attacks, which will last all the way through to the next psychic phase, coming in at strength 5, AP -3. His Runic Axe is +1 strength, AP -2, and D3 damage. So, nasty, it's a nasty amount of attacks. So that's going to give him 11. And then simply you play Honour the Chapter, Stratagem, fight again, another 11 attacks. And then if he's slain, you can fight again before he's removed for only in death does duty end, another 11 attacks. There's potential there, in the most extreme situation of getting 33 attacks, so which is ridiculous for one model. Then for psychic powers, I'm going to experiment with different ones here. Stormcaller's tempting to go for. It's difficult to manifest though. It's value of 8. Difficult to make that go off. If it does though, again, units within 6 inches of him gain the benefit of being in cover. It's quite awkward to make that one go off though, an 8. Other ones I like is Murderous Hurricanes, pretty good. Living Lightning, the ones that's similar to Smite. So he's there just to dish out mortal wounds as well with Smite and these other powers, just from the safety of being behind other units, to grant those bonuses. And then when the coast is clear and there's an easy kill, like a vulnerable character or something, then I can charge him in, and he should have no problem at all in close combat. So that's the idea there with the Rune Priest. But a pivotal unit for this list. So very, very happy to have him in. Yeah, total points in then. Bjorn was 234 for the combo that I've gone for. Then the Rune Priest comes in at 88 points. 12 points for the Runic Axe. And then I also give him a Plasma Pistol for 5 points as well. So that makes him 105 points. I don't give him any other upgrades other than that. There are other upgrades that you can give him. Like, for example, you can give him Runic Armour. You'll get a 5+ Invuln save. You can go for the Psychic Hood. I don't bother with that, but that's another option as well. But I've tried to keep the cost down just the way this army is structured. It comes in at 105. So at the moment, you're looking at sort of the eye of the storm at the moment. Things will be built up around these models. So yeah, it's another guy to go in the eye of the storm. It's Kromm. Perhaps one of my favourite Space Wolves models. Absolutely superb. Here, really, really nice model. You know, if you're into collected Space Wolves, you don't have this guy, then try and get a hold of him. He's an amazing model for sure. So Kromm Dragon Gaze, again to hang around my characters, safely tucked away, mostly unless there's some nasty snipers around. But I think he's an absolute bargain. He's 90 points, and for that you're going to get Weapon Skill and Ballistic Skill 2+, Strength and Toughness 4. He's got 5 wounds, pretty durable. He's got 5 attacks, which is fantastic. Leadership 9 and 3+ save. It's a brilliant stat line. The Worm Claw here is +2 strength. He can fight at strength 6, AP -2 and D3 damage, so superb. And then Jarl of Fenris, reroll hit rolls of 1 for friendly Space Wolves units within 6. That's either for shooting or for close combat. So superb. He's also got a 4+ invuln save, which is excellent, so he can hold his own pretty good against some of the nastier characters. And then the fierce eye, enemy units within 3 is -1 to leadership. But I just think he's an absolute bargain, and another decent lone character there that can take other characters on pretty good. Could hold his own, I think, against a lot of characters. So, you know, and then you start to not just fight on their own, but start to combine them with other models. So say you got the Rune Priest and you got Kromm charging in. The pair of them are going to cause havoc if they charge into a target. You know, that amount of attacks come through is frightening enough. Just bear in mind for Space Wolves, yeah, I'll cover it here just again because it matches in with the theme here. Yeah, Hunters Unleashed. Just to bear this in mind for all these units and the style of play that I'm going for here. In any turn in which this ability, unit with this ability made a charged move, was charged or made a heroic intervention, you can add 1 to the hit rolls. So units with a 3+ to hit become 2+ to hit. It benefits things like Thunderhammers, -1 to hit rolls, then you get +1, so it sort of cancels that out. Very, very useful. In addition, characters with this ability can perform heroic intervention if, after the enemy has completed all their charge moves, there are enemy units within 6 inches, not the usual 3. They can move up to 6 when performing heroic intervention, as long as they end the move closer to the nearest enemy model. That's very useful, that 6 inches. Leaves all the gaps almost in your line and swing through if you need to there for heroic intervention. So the rules fit nicely with the theme I've got here. I've got multiple characters for the heroic intervention, which is great, really good. And then +1 to all the hit rolls, a real benefit here. And if your army's battle-forged troops, units in the Space Wolves attachment gain Defenders of Humanity. So I've got a nice lot of troops in my list. In addition, infantry, biker, cavalry, and dreadnought. See that? That's why I'm going for these key dreadnought units. Other servitor units in Space Wolves attachments also gain Hunters Unleashed abilities, so they're going to get all that benefit there as well. Excellent, really good. So now you have units hitting on 2+ on the charge, or even if they are charged, and then with Kromm nearby, you're getting the reroll 1s. It's almost guaranteed getting all your hits. Brilliant. So you know, big emphasis on getting into close combats. That's what this army is geared towards, is getting their teeth and claws stuck into the opponent. It comes with dangers because the opponent can, you know, blast you to pieces as you move in, so you've got to try and limit that as much as possible. But then once these guys get in, the fun the fun begins. That's the idea. So moving on, I dropped Canis Wolfborn. I think he's pretty useless, so he's out. So I dropped him out of the list. Didn't think he was particularly good. So yeah, on to infantry here. Troops choices. So by the way, this is 1, 2, 3 HQs. So I've got 2 of them can fulfill my battalion, and 1 of them can fulfill the vanguard. Doesn't particularly matter which one goes where, but that's the required HQs, all completed for those 2 detachments. So for troops, you need 3 to fulfill your battalion. I've got 4, and they're decent, healthy sizes here as well. Units of 10 in size. The idea is the opponent's got to try and chew through all of this infantry here, and they have a function as well. If they get into close combat, especially against hordes and lighter targets, just to plaster the opponent with loads and loads of hits and just to chew their way through the lighter stuff, and that creates gaps and an open pathway for then the nasty units to get through and try and take out the heavier targets. That's the kind of idea I'm thinking of with these. So I do have blood claws. They feature heavily in this list. A particular combination I've gone for now. So again, trying to think of ways of protecting them and keeping them alive for as long as possible. So what I've done is I had a unit here. Let's go to the elite section here just to show you what I've done. So I had a unit of 5 Wolfguard Terminators, and I found that during battles the opponent would identify these as a nastier target and then divert firepower towards these and blow them away. So that was an issue. And I also had a problem with the Blood Claws units, just regular Space Marines, a bit soft, getting shot to pieces. So what I've done is I've broken up my Terminator squad, and I've brought the Terminators and distributed them in amongst the Bloodclaw and Grey Hunter units. So now each of these units has a Terminator model, from that previous squad, buried inside the regular Space Marine models. So it's like a mini storm going on here. So I'll show you what I mean. So for example, Terminator here, equipped him with a Power Axe and a Stormbolter, so a little bit of DACA available from him. And then I have 9 Bloodclaws with bolt pistols and chainswords with him as well. So it looks something like this. There's 6 in total. So I'll add in 4 more. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like so. You can go for bigger units, but a unit that kind of size isn't too expensive in points. It's bulky enough. So what you've got here is regular Bloodclaws, geared for combat. The ballistic skill is 4+, the weapon skill is 3+. And remember, on the charger, or being charged, they'll go up to 2+. They get 1 attack only, but bolt pistol and chainsword is going to give them an extra attack. And then on the charge here, Berserk Charge, on a turn in which they make a successful charge, you get an additional attack as well. So all of a sudden, 3 attacks each on the charge. So, if you had a regular unit of these with no other upgrades, forget about the Terminator unit of 10, that's 30 attacks. The leader, 31 attacks. Pretty good, and that 2's to hit. So what you can do is you can go for, it contains 1 Bloodclaw pack leader and 4 Bloodclaws. So the Bloodclaw pack leader, just going to get an extra attack for him. Just remember that, there's one of these models in here. It will have to be the regular sort of pack leader, and just remember I need an extra attack. Then this guy is one that you can add in, the Terminator. It says here up to 10, so you can take 5 more, or up to 10 additional Bloodclaws. You can go up to unit of 15. You can also include either a Wolfguard pack leader or a Wolfguard Terminator pack leader. So that's him there. He'll come just as a regular Terminator. His movement's 5. He'll get the extra wound, gets the extra attack there, 2 attacks, and leadership goes from 7 up to 8, so he improves the leadership of the whole unit. And then save there is 2+. So what can happen, I usually try and do this a bit carefully during games, but say you've got a few stray shots have come in and a few saves are required, I'll tank them on the Terminator model and take a 2+ save instead of a 3+. Usually have a command reroll on standby, because if a wound comes through, the rest of the wounds are going to have to go through against that Terminator model. So I have to weigh it up sometimes, and just be careful. But if it's a few shots, usually they can shrug them off. And it means keeping Marines alive, making it more and more difficult for your opponent to try and delete the unit. So I found that pretty useful in games actually, with the Terminator armour, just to tank hits on them. So the combination for this guy is Power Axe and Stormbolter for him. That's his combination. Just think what else to cover here. Yeah, there's other upgrades you can give to these guys. I just keep them as they are. They are 13 points each. Yeah, 13 points a time. So unit 10, 130 points. And the Bloodclaw pack leaders free of charge, so 130 points. And to add in the Terminator, 26 points. Yeah. So for this particular unit, it's 26 points to pay for the whole model. Not upgrading one of these, you're just paying for the whole model. 2 points to the Stormbolter. And because it's in Terminator armor, you're going to get this Bolter Discipline rule. Then the Power Axe is cheap, it's just 5 points. So, 150 points for that unit. I think that's pretty reasonable. And because this guy's actually better in this unit, because on the charge he's going to get the extra attack. Now bear in mind, if I start adding in Kromm, I'm getting to reroll 1s. And if this guy's nearby, he grants reroll 1s as well, by the way, so even Bjorn as well. This guy, the Wolfenstein, if he's nearby, an extra attack for all of these guys. And then on the charge as well, if he's slain 5 models, he's unable to grant that buff to other units nearby. It's going to be another attack as well. So this Terminator on the charge has got 5 attacks all of a sudden. 2s to hit, rerolling 1s. So pretty good. Just for the sake of having these characters in here, just to add those bonuses. So you're getting the impression here, I've only put a few units out so far, but you're getting the impression here, you know, getting a wall of infantry, trying to make them as tough as possible, and then buffing characters that are benefiting these, and then in return they're being protected. And these are the nasty units that I'm trying to keep alive. So this is giving you an idea, a smaller scale idea of the entire plan for the army. So there's other upgrades you can give them and so on, but there it is. Just going to leave it at that. Headstrong. Now, unless this unit contains a Wolfguard Pack Leader or Wolfguard Terminator Pack Leader, you then have to charge. It must declare a charge in its charge phase if it's possible to do so. Other benefit of taking the Wolfguard Pack Leader is that deletes that. That means you've got full control over the unit as well. So I think it's been a good move. I think now this is not going to be the most durable unit. They do get shot to pieces. Marines aren't as tough, I don't think, as they used to be with the new AP system, but better. It's stronger for sure. So that's that unit there. I'll push. It's got a fair amount of Space Marine models to put onto the board here. I'll swing them over there because I have 2 more units of these. So this one is again Terminator, and it's the same kind of structure, but his combination is Wolf Claws, a pair of Wolf Claws, extra 14 points for that. So this unit's a little bit more expensive. It comes out 157, but for him it's pretty good because you're going for Wolf Claws. Yeah, 14 points. The advantage of the Wolf Claws is you get extra strength. And that can really help. Instead of being strength 4, you're on strength 5. Yeah, Wolf Claws. So +1 strength. So he fights at strength 5. AP -2. And it's reroll failed wound rolls for this weapon. Fantastic. Because you're going to get those hits, you know, 2s to hit, potentially rolling 1s, the hits are going to come through. Model armed with 2 claws gets an additional attack. So he's on 3 attacks, 2 attacks, 3 attacks, on the charge 4 attacks, then other bonuses, potential 6 attacks with this, with this guy. So nicely enhanced there, and he's buried inside the unit. You know, opponent's got to try and chew through all of the other regular Marines, the cheaper models, in order to try and get through to him. So I'm just sort of taking my time in this video, you know, trying to share as much information as possible to try and give you the structure of this army and then to help you as you build your own Space Force army. Maybe some of these ideas you can take on, experiment with, and indeed use for your own Space Force list. It's all about anticipating damage, knowing for a fact you're going to get shot at. You know, where's the damage going to come from? How can I spread that damage around? How can I protect the most valuable parts of the army? So that's what I'm trying to think of here for this Space Wolves army. So the opponent's got to try and chew through regular Marines, you know, a bit more disposable, and he's got to get through all of them in order to try and get through to the more deadly stuff. So I'm just going to add in these models here. I think they look great. I really love the Blood Claws models. They're fantastic with all their pelts and so on, and heraldry and bolt pistols and chain swords. Just a brilliant theme. And in mass, larger mobs of them I think look great, and look even better with Terminator models buried in amongst them. Very, very unique, excellent theme, and a real sort of focal point for the unit. So really like the combination. It's great stuff. And every model's posed differently. These are all Siege Studio painted models here. So close-up views, check out the Tactica video I've done for these. So we're looking at here is 5 and 5 is 10. Yes, yeah, it's 157 points. And the other unit, again, is the repeat. So another 157 points with the Wolf Claws here. Look at this army bulking out nicely. You know, against hordes, you're looking at well, if this crashed into a hordes army with all these supporting characters, 10, 20, 30, 50 is we have 150 attacks here. 2s to hit, rerolling 1s. Yeah, about 150, 160 attacks in total. Yeah. So no, it's pretty good. Potentially, I'm not going to get shot at most likely. So 5, 9, one more. I have a few spare here, just the way the army's been restructured. And there's another one just there. But nicely bulking the army out. Great theme going on here. All these space marines with a nice, the armor, the colour of the armor here. That's sort of blue-grey colour, and then the nice golden shoulder pads here. Looks really, really good. So that's the blood claws then. So screening units, absorbing damage, and then clearing away hordes and tying up units and charging into vehicles and just causing havoc all over the place. That's the idea of them. Then got a unit of Grey Hunters. Same kind of idea. Unit of 10 with a Terminator buried in the middle. The Terminator this time, I'll put this unit just over here. Grey Hunter's more for a bit of firepower, so I've gone for a shooty option here. Just a power sword and a Stormbolter in the Terminator armor, just getting those extra shots. So he goes there. And then it's another 9. It's unit 10 in total, so that lets me take 2 special weapons. I'll take plasma guns. So slightly different shoulder pads for these guys. But double plasma gun inside there, so provide a bit of armor punching ability against vehicles and monsters and heavy infantry and so on. The rest are armed with bolters. You can use these guys to sit on top of an objective, just to march up the rest of the army, providing a bit of firepower. I can flank them, Cunning of the Wolf, bring them on to shoot as they arrive and potentially charge. They can fight just as well, because you can give them chain swords here, free of charge, and you can still keep your bolters. Chain sword, bolt pistol, bolter, they can still have that combination. You don't have to lose your bolters. So decent firepower, decent enough in close combat, you know, same kind of amount of attacks as these guys, and their firepower is more reliable. It is hitting on a 3+ just there. So same kind of idea with them, just another infantry choice, and again, look at that horde there of infantry. So now, you know, look at all that the opponent's got to try and chew through to get through to your characters and dreadnoughts and so on. So that's the idea. So yeah, I've gone non-Primaris as well. Red Scorpion army that I have, that's going to be my Primaris theme. Space Wolves, I'm sticking with traditional Marines. May well bring some Primaris in later on, but I'm very happy with sort of the units I have at the moment. So just moving on here into elites. This is the Vanguard detachment here. I've already got the HQ. I'm looking for 3 elites here to make up this detachment. So the first will be a Venerable Dreadnought. Always liked this. As soon as the model came out and the whole theme behind it, I've always liked it. So he's in the list here. This is a Dreadnought that's a bit more vulnerable because it's not a character. So it's this one here. I need to give you the points. The Grey Hunters, 174 points. By the time you pay for extra plasma guns and so on, it's a bit more expensive because of the firepower inside that unit. 174 in total. So Venerable Dreadnought here. Yes. So I'll give you the points for him. He's 80 points. Then I'm paying 2 points for a Stormbolter. Then 15 points for this Blizzard Shield, which will give him a 4+ invuln save. So useful because your opponent does get shot at, because I can't hide him, he's not a character. So that 4+ invuln save is very useful when he gets into close combat, very helpful as well. And then the Fenrisian Great Axe here is plus 50 points. So that makes him 147 points in total. So it's expensive enough, but well below 200. But you want to try and keep him alive. So this one is would be moving up with the infantry, but it's going to want to try and hide behind line of sight blocking terrain, try and limit the amount of firepower that can be brought against him, try and make use of his smoke launchers. Make use of his smoke launchers, activate those, -1 to hit rolls, that kind of thing. 4+ invuln save. He's got 8 wounds, his toughness is 7, so you know, he's tough as a tank. And then he's also here, unyielding ancient, any 6s. When a wound is lost, the wound is ignored, so a little bit of extra help there to help him out. He's geared obviously for close combat. Once he reaches close combat, it's 4 attacks at 2s to hit. It is -1 to the hit rolls if he uses cleave, but it'll make him fight at strength 10. Remember, Dreadnoughts are affected by this +1 to the hit rolls, so you still get to strike at +1 or at 2+ anyway on the charge, or if he is charged, so that really does help out. It's AP -3, and then it's D6 damage once that gets through. So he's nasty enough in close combat. You can then go for Scythe if he's against more numerous lighter targets. Strength user, fight at strength 6, AP -3, it's 1 damage, but he gets 2 attacks for every attack, so he'll fight with 8 attacks. There, if he wants to scythe his way through, say, a unit of Chaos Space Marines, that'll be the option you go for with that. Yeah, excellent. Yeah, really good. You could go for Heavy Flame there. I went for Storm Bolter just to keep the cost down, and on a Dreadnought, he's getting the extra shots there for Bolter Discipline, which is great. That's pretty much really for him. The danger I've seen in games so far is he does get picked on because he's not a character he gets shot at, but he's just trying to be as cunning as possible here. But one of the Dreadnoughts there, he'll be in amongst the line, and you'll notice in games I'll try and mask him and hide him physically, you know, as much as possible, line of sight blocking terrain, but a little bit vulnerable. But there he is. I'll just bury him in amongst the infantry. But nice theme here. See the infantry units and these lumbering Dreadnoughts and characters in amongst them. I think it's a nice theme we've got going here for this Space Wolves list. So that's one elite. Yeah. Next is Wolfen. So one of the deadly units that Space Wolves can take. Very, very good unit for sure. I need to make sure I get the rules right, because often I miss bits, enhancements that can be really good. So it's a unit of 5. Just here. I'll cover the combination that I've got for these. I do cover these in a Tactica video. Talk about different combinations you can go for. But there they are, unit of 5 of them. And they really do have potential. They're a nasty unit. Now, I'll go through the points as well, just to cover them now. They come out at 225 points. It is one of my more expensive units. It is a unit I want to try and keep alive. I'll use similar tactics to the Venerable Dreadnought here. I don't want them exposed where multiple enemy units can see them, so I'll try and hide them, wait for the right time to strike, or sneak them around as much as possible, because these are most effective if you can keep their numbers up. As soon as they start losing models, they don't have the same fighting potential. Their movement's 7, they're quick enough, and what can catch the opponent out is they can advance and charge in the same turn. So 7 plus a d6, looking at about a 10-11 inch move, and being able to charge is excellent with these guys. They're at weapon skill 3+, remember that's on +1 to the hit rolls for being Space Wolves. They're fighting at strength 5 as standard, the toughness 4, they've got a 4-up save. You can help that out though with Storm Shields. 2 wounds each. They've got 3 attacks base, so loads of attacks for these. And then the Wolfen Pack Leader gets 4 attacks base, so tons of attacks for them. You then get Curse of the Wolf and Hunt and Kill here as well. On the Hunt here, you can reroll failed charge rolls for any Space Wolves, Infantry, Biker and Cavalry units whilst within 6 inches of this unit to start of the charge phase. I take it they get that bonus as well, so they're able to reroll charges. The range of this ability is doubled to 12 Blood Claw units. That ties in nicely because I've got a load of Blood Claws here in this list. And then Curse of the Wolf and Kill. You can make an additional attack for models in friendly Space Wolves, Infantry, Biker and Cavalry units whilst there is 6 of any unit with this ability. So it's worth keeping them hanging around with these Blood Claw units. And with this ability when they make their attacks in the fight phase. The range of this ability is again increased to 12 for Blood Claw units. Wolfen not affected by this ability, nor are units that made a charge this turn whilst within range of Curse of the Wolf and Hunt abilities. You can't get both, so you just have to figure that out. So I'll cover 225 points is Frost Claws on this guy. You have to pay 15 points for that. That's the leader, he has to take them. Then I'm paying points for 2 Storm Shields, 2 Thunder Hammers, and then 2 of the Great Frost Axes being added on there as well. That gives you a total 225 points. So the Storm Shields, they're there to tank hits coming through on a 3+. The other rule that I miss sometimes is death friends. It's well worth remembering. Roll a d6 each time model in this unit loses a wound. On a 5+, that wound is not lost. Very, very helpful. And if a model in this unit is slain in the fight phase, then once the enemy unit has finished making its attacks, you can then attack with that model before removing it as a casualty, even if it's already attacked that phase. So if you attack, do your attacks, the opponent then attacks back and you die with some models, they then get to fight again. It's crazy, and especially with these kind of armaments here, thunderhammers and so on. It's madness. So they're a nasty unit to get stuck into close combat, and even when they die, they're nasty as well. So I really rate them. The danger for them is they get seen, shot at and destroyed before they're able to make contact. So I've got to be as cunning as possible with these, striking at the right time, at full strength if possible. They're for taking on heavy infantry, vehicles, characters, anything. They'll chuck them into anything, and then even if you think you want to charge in, you'll half kill the unit, there's a chance of being slain. It's still going to get to fight as well with the models as they're removed. So they're an absolutely superb unit, really able to smash a hole in the enemy's line with them. So really happy to have those in the list. Let's move those to the side. So that's our second elite. We need one more to make up this vanguard. It's on the same page here. It's Murderfang. So here he is. So look, nice dreadnought theme going on here. So I'll just tuck him in, bury him in amongst the lines. Let's give him this idea. So you're sort of getting the idea of this, the Eye of the Storm here, and it spins round out to these units around here. The Wolfen would be tucked away there in amongst the army as well. You get to see the whole army laid out soon. The army's bulking out nicely here. It's quite a sight on the battlefield. So this is the fringes here. This is a more expendable part of the army, and the other units buried amongst behind the screen. So Murderfang here, character, can't be shot at unless it's a sniper and so on. So hidden in amongst your lines, great stuff. Toughness 7 again, 8 wounds. 8 wounds isn't bad. Just a few wounds short of a tank. 5 attacks again for this guy. 2+ to hit. On the charge, he's getting an extra +1 to hit rolls on top of that as well. So really good. So if your opponent's got some kind of -1 to hit him, you then get a 3+. You then get +1 to hit on the charge. So you're back to 2+ again. Keep him nearby of units, getting the reroll 1s, helping him out. He has a Stormbolt and Heavy Flame. It's all incorporated into the points cost, which is 170 points for him. So 5 attacks. His shooting power, again, a little bit of Dakka available from the Stormbolter and a bit of Heavy Flame, but that's not the main emphasis, but a little bit of ability there. It's the Murder Claws here, which is the deadly bit. He fights at strength 6, but it's ×2, so he's going to fight at strength 12. So vast majority of targets, heavier targets, which he's going to go after. It's going to be winning on a 3+. AP -3. It's a straight 3 damage, which is excellent, really, really good. And you can reroll foul wound rolls. So usually that's a 3+ against a vehicle, rerollable. So you're probably going to get all of your hits, if not maybe one of them will miss, and then most of the wounds should come through as well. So excellent. Yeah, you can reroll foul charge rolls for Murderfang. In addition, if he makes a charge, he gets an extra attack. He gets extra 2 attacks to the end of the turn. Great. So 7 attacks now. That's why I think he's so good. Real nasty dreadnought, that one. Space Wolves can boast some really nasty dreadnoughts, which is great. Not real nice theme for these guys. So, speed now we need, which is what we're going to look at next, and my final screen here to try and protect. So the aim now is I'm going to show you the screen, and the screen is there to try and protect this lot as much as possible. So this chunk of the army is moving towards the opponent, the main part of the storm. I then want a line to distract the opponent to absorb firepower for as long as possible. So, to fulfill that, I have Thunderwolf Cavalry. So again, I've done a Tactica video on these. justifying the combo that I've gone for. I did have a big unit of 5, a little bit inflexible, so what I've gone for instead now is 2 units of 3. So I've got 2 units of Thunderwolf Cavalry, like so. The combination that I've gone for these is something like this. Leader at the front. So running out of space, but we'll zoom out soon and see the whole army. I like this combination. I think it's a realistic combination. It's been sensible, but everyone has their own ideas. This used to be an absolutely deadly unit. They have taken knock. They're not as good as they used to be, and they are expensive as well. But well, they have a very special role here, a very important role here. So 2 units of 3. Movement 10. So they are nice and quick. I'm going to be advancing them as well. So they're going to be going between 11 and 16 inches a turn, straight towards the opponent. This is the expendable unit. The whole idea behind these is to attract attention, to absorb firepower. So for that reason, I don't want to overspend on them, equip them with really good heavy gear, because they're probably going to die anyway, but I want to protect them as much as I can. So the invuln save here, the storm shields, are going to prove vital for these. So what will help them out is their 3+ armor save. The fact they have 3 wounds each. There's actually 9 wounds the opponent to try and chew through here, and they are toughness 5 as well. So you know your small arms firepower is on average going to be wounding on a 5+ instead of 4s. So that's useful. Also, and things like say a melter gun is going to need to wound on a 3+, not a 2+, and that can help out a little bit as well. So see, they used to be really good because all of the attacks could be used for the weapon the guy was armed with, but now they've split it. The wolf attacks separately from the model. So you equip the model, and you know you're going to get 2 attacks with Thunderwolf Cavalryman, and then the wolf itself with crushing teeth and claws attacks at strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage. Then you get 3 attacks there. So you still get 5 attacks, but not as potent as it would be if it was, you know, 5 attacks all with your upgraded weapon that you've paid for. So not as effective that way. So what I've gone for, knowing I'm going to get shot at, I'm going to get shot at by these. There seems to be some kind of psychological thing going on where you've got a Space Marine riding, you know, armed with this kind of stuff, and riding a big wolf. The opponent just seems to really want to shoot at them for some reason, even if they're not particularly heavily armed. They get shot at a lot, I've found in games, and so I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to concede the fact they're going to get shot at, and so I'm going to gear them towards protection as opposed to attacking ability and damage output, because I know they're going to get removed from the table. So the way the points worked out, I'm able to afford, because it's these guys, it's 10 points a time to give them storm shields, so 40 points to the model, you know, bare bones, and then 10 points, that's 50 points a time to give them a 3+ invuln save. The way the points I've been working the list, I could give them 2 storm shields, but actually this list works out at 1979 points, so I'm going to give a storm shield to the spare guy on each of these units to make it 1999 points for this list. That means all the models have a 3+ invuln save. Whichever model I elect to take the damage, 3+ invuln save every time. So this entire unit, 9 wounds to get through, 3+ invuln save twice. That's it's going to take a fair bit to chew through that. I think it's going to be very useful, very, very useful indeed. So bolt, pistol, chainsword, that's it for these 2. And the guy at the front, which is worth putting a little bit of investment on because he gets an extra attack, 3 attacks for the pack leader. I've just given him just a power axe. Yeah, that's it, 5 points. That'll be +1 strength, AP -2, and 1 damage. If they do make it into close combat, multiple functions for them. Either to charge into units to tie them up, stop them from shooting. So charge into a vehicle, like a Predator for example, charge into it, not expecting to destroy it, but to stay alive and to prevent it from shooting next turn in order to protect the rest of the army. So that's a function they can go for. Or to try and charge into and sweep away hordes and light infantry, to get stuck into them and try and clear the path as much as possible for the other units marching up, if they survive. But really it's a fire magnet, a deliberate fire magnet here. If the opponent fires heavy guns, infantry guns at these, it's not firing into this line as it moves up. This is the whole idea going on with those two. Splitting them up into 2 units of 3, nice bit of flexibility instead of one big blob of 5. It seemed to be there had to be in one place on the table, but now I've got an option of a bit more manoeuvrability, taking 2 units of 3. So yeah, total then, with the Storm Shields, 50 points each. Power Axe, 5 points, 155 points. It's not a big deal if your unit's wiped out. Times it by 2. So, then I've got 2 more units here, and this is fluff. Here, I couldn't. I've never owned a dog before. Now I've got 10. So I'm a bit overwhelmed. These have been painting up Fenrisian Wolves. They're a great kit, they really are nicely put together. So I'll just move them there. 2 units of 5. They're not built to last, they don't stand much of a chance in the game. But they may well prove useful. It's another unit that can move nice and quick. 10-inch move, plus an advance from these. They look great riding alongside, running alongside the Thunderwolf Cavalry. I'll just bring in the second unit. I think it nicely rounds off this Space Wolves army, and you couldn't have a Space Wolves list without these in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one here as well. It bulks out the army a bit more. That just adds a brilliant theme. Just really like how these have come out. It didn't take very long to paint at all. Very, very quick to paint. If they do get into close combat, they're on. I haven't gone for a Cyberwolf. I've just kept them at the minimum points cost. So it's 40 points a unit. Extremely expendable. I can use them. I'll cover that in just a moment. Okay, there's some tactical uses for them. If they do make it into close combat, they're on 2 attacks each. So, 10 attacks. They'll fight at strength 4, and it'll be AP -1 with the teeth and claws. And they get reroll charges. There may be a situation where a unit of these and a unit of these has made it close enough to the opponent. I could charge them perhaps into a Predator, and if they silence that tank for a turn, they really have done their job. So there may be times when they prove most useful. Or maybe there's a chance where, an opportunity where these are going to charge into a Hordes unit. They charge first, absorb any Overwatch, and these charge in support and add another 10 attacks to their attacks. So an enhancement for them. Adds a nice bit of symmetry to the army, so you've got a nice balance. Unit 3, 5, 3 and 5. Just balances that out. And it bulks out my sort of swift first wave here with some of these dogs. They're only a 6-up save, but they are toughness 4, so it'll take a little bit of effort to bring them down. But I don't expect them to last too long. The other tactical use for them is to hold them back and hide them and claim objectives with them, and run them from one objective to the next, like little sort of messenger dog type things, and run them around grabbing objectives. Could be a use for them as well. It's just a handy little unit. I don't expect anything from them in the game. Got to be careful not to put any weight on them, because they'll not last at all. They'll be shot to bits very, very easily. So I can't rely on them to do anything. Just have them there as a bonus, and don't expect too much from them. Still, they bulk the army out nicely, and they look great. And a real wolf theme we've got going on now. Just very, very happy with that. So as I said, 40 points a time, times 2. And that's it. I know there's other options I could go for, but that is the list the way it looks. The total points that I have for that is 1999 points. If I had the final Storm Shield onto both of these 2 models here, 1999 points. Just there. By all means, in the comment section, rework the list if you want. What units would you drop? What units would you add in? What units would you perhaps expand in size or decrease? Other war gear combinations and so on. Feel free to talk about that in the comment section. Experienced Space Wolves players, leave your own comments and feedback. Make your predictions as to how well you think this list will do. And that'll be a real help to people getting into collecting Space Wolves, people looking for more experience and so on. So by all means, check out the comment section and see what people have said in the comments below. But I'll rework this army here a little bit. I'll zoom out and we'll take a look at the final army. Alright, so there's the army there. It's bulked out quite nicely, I think. So I'm happy with sort of the balance of the list here. So just in the order that it's going to come towards the opponent, got my fast attacking element here, buffed out with these 3+ invuln saves, try and absorb and tank as much damage as possible. A bit of supporting Fenrisian wolves here, over grabbing objectives, adding a weight of extra attacks to these as they charge in. Just a little bit of a bonus there, and visually, nice theme running here with this faster attacking element of the list. Then onto the bulky infantry units there with their Terminators buried inside, just to add a bit more durability to these as well. Good for clearing out hordes and to act as a screen for my nastier units moving up. Dreadnought's not the biggest of vehicles in the game, but nasty close combat potential from all 3 of these for sure, and a bit of heavy firepower support available. Very useful, I think, a double laser cannon shot coming through from beyond the fell-handed as well. But all 3 of those very nasty in close combat. Then Kromm, nasty character there, and the Rune Priest as well, nasty in close combat. Psychic abilities available from him also, and some real bonuses there with the Wolf and Stone and Sargrath the Wolfkin as well, with his bonus on the charge for attacks, and then if he fulfills his deed of legend, then other units can benefit from that also. So real potential with him. And again, these characters here and here to be buried in amongst the army, and they're real nasty unit of Wolfen here, very, very nasty in close combat, and the aim is to try and sneak them in amongst the opponent's units and cause havoc with those as well. But I think this army here, if I get it into close combat and in as most healthy condition as possible, I think it'll be utterly deadly. Considering the fact that I'll probably lose these and number of the infantry, but if I can get the rest in, I think the Space Wolves should do very well indeed. That's the prediction, but it's all about trying to get into close combat and closing the range as quick as possible. But that's the list. Check out the comment section, leave your own comments, see what other people are saying, make your predictions as to how well you think they'll do. So the next stage then, this list is complete, really excited here. Great time for Space Wolves on the channel. They've played a few games this season already. Plan to play a lot more, so great combinations we've got lined up for them. That'll be battle reports on both of the channels, so here on YouTube and over on the Plus channel as well. I may well work on some painting tutorials in the future also for the Space Wolves. Check out the Tactica videos for these previous battle reports, and then keep a lookout for plenty of Space Wolf action in the future. But nice themed list here, I think, and really looking forward to seeing how well they get on against the various other factions that are out there on the channel at the moment, and of course challenge games as well. These can potentially be used as well. But there it is, that's the complete army overview here video for the Space Wolves. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.